Hello and welcome back to season 3, episode, what is it, 4?
I
think. Woohoo, we don't even know. Of Psychotic PY podcast. Today we have a special guest, if you hear in the background, a cute little Theo Bear, and also the special guest of finally we're drinking together. Woohoo, cheers on Cinco de Mayo. Woohoo.
That's a real clink clink you heard.
It's a real clink. And Bridget has made sure her breastfeeding schedule aligns with her drinking.
That's what you got to do. Welcome, everybody. We're recording on Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Drinko, Cinco de Gringo. We're doing it. Brought to you by On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Margarita. Yeah. So the brand is called On the Rocks, and anyone who's had them knows that you can get like anything like a Cosmo, anything like that, and it's pre-mixed. You just pour it over ice,
and it's freaking good. It's with Hornitos tequila. It's strong.
It is strong.
So that's our plug for On the Rocks. You're welcome, On the Rocks.
If you'd like to sponsor us, feel free.
I accept payment in the form of tequila.
I mean, you could just Venmo me. It's fine. Ooh, is anybody here, Theo? He's excited because he is eating. What is he eating, Bridget?
God, beets and lentils. I'm sorry. It sounds gross, but it's pretty good. Oh, yeah.
He likes it. Okay. He's a healthy boy. So anyway, today's topic, let's dive right in. First and foremost is, have anybody has heard, he's excited. He's as angry as me about this. AI chatbots trying to replace actual knowledgeable, educated therapists. I'm sure before I even go into this, you're all saying that is illegal and probably unethical and dangerous. You're 100% correct. It is. A lot of people in my field, a lot of therapists, we have a lot of group chats and Facebook groups, and we stay very active, and we are trying to fight it. And I believe actually one of the states won recently. Was it Illinois? I think it was Illinois. Like they won saying like they were not going to allow that. Because what's happening is a lot of rich venture capitalists are trying to come in, as always, get like their 18th yacht. They don't care about you or your family or actual productive health from someone who's well-educated. And they want you to just talk to an AI, grab your money, and they're selling it to these people because they know right now with the economy, things are not going so great. So they know that you obviously are struggling with mental health, but you don't have the money maybe for like a high copay or a self-pay session. So what they're saying is when they promote this is, oh, well, for just $20 or $30, you could talk to an AI chatbot instead of maybe like a $50 copay or stuff like that. The problem is there are stories popping up all over of where this is incredibly dangerous. Bridget, go ahead.
Yeah, so I actually just read an article. I can't remember who posted it originally, but the Skim posted it in their daily letters. So they're love bombing, basically. Okay, so first of all, you need to understand how AI works. They collate a bunch of data from the internet. Basically, it's like Google times 10, and they just take all that and formulate an answer that they think is most suitable. They don't actually have human reason, so they cannot gauge a response based on the actual situation.
Correct.
So they're love bombing because that's like something that they find on the internet that people love to hear. They're like, oh, yes, queen, you go, girl. So there's a real life example of I think it was a man who has schizophrenia, and he told his AI chatbot,
yeah, he's upset.
I'm going to, Theo's talking to a dog right now.
A real one, not an AI one.
Yeah, a real one. He said, I'm going to stop taking my psychotic medications. And the chatbot responded like, yes, king, you do it. Like, do it for yourself, boy. And he was like, he did this to prove that you cannot substitute this for therapy. And then he, had screenshots and everything. This thing basically would have convinced someone who's mentally unwell to stop taking their antipsychotic medications because it thinks that's the answer you want to hear.
Yes.
Which, as Marissa knows, therapy is not just giving you the answer you want to hear.
Correct. And also, we always speak with like outside resources and referrals in situations where, like, say, if we know someone is suicidal, right? We call the hotline for that, or we get them a higher level of care. These are things we do outside of session to make sure our client is 100% safe and gets the help they need. Even if it's not us, it's someone else, it's a higher level, fine. I know who to call. You'll be safe. A chatbot is not going to do that. I feel like a few months ago, before you even mentioned this, Bridget, I had originally started hearing about it because a teenage boy, maybe 12 or 13, did commit suicide because they were talking to the AI Snapchat. You know that Snapchat that everyone, and like, I forget it. I don't want to quote things because I don't remember exactly what they said, but it kind of like assisted him in saying like, it'll be fine. Like everyone will be fine in your absence. Like just do it.
We talked about this. God, that's horrendous.
I know the mother's suing. Yeah.
Oh my God. We did talk about this a few sessions ago. Where they are encouraging, because we have talked about this definitely, where Gen Z doesn't have the same social skills because they're not reaching out in person. Mm-hmm. So parents are encouraging them to have any form of conversations, even if that is with Chat GPT. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, he's so cute. Guest star is really distracting.
He actually loves animals. So they're encouraging them to have any form of communication with somebody, even if that's with the Chat GPT, AI, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they're using it as therapy, even if they're not using this truly like the way that these people want it to be. They're just chatting, and they find that it releases a bit of a mental load because they have somebody to talk to. Bit sad,
yes,
but also, like we said, they're just feeding you information that they think you want to hear. It's really tragic.
We have to consider is, if you want therapy and you think talking to an AI is better than a therapist, then ask yourself if you need therapy, if just Googling things is good enough, because that's what you're doing.
WebMD
that's
for
all,
diagnosis.
That's all it is. It's just, instead of having to physically search, it's doing it for you. Like you're asking the question and it's pulling up all the info.
Yes.
That's all it's doing.
I mean, the same could be said about, if you were truly, let's say, suicidal ideation, stuff like that, and you wouldn't just talk to your friends. You wouldn't be like, should I do it?
Right.
Like, your friends obviously are the first point of call, maybe, because you need to talk to somebody.
Support.
But that should not be like, I'm taking their medical advice.
Correct. Also, so what the thing with this is, because now these venture capitalists, we call them VCs, they're kind of trying to push back, saying, well, they are trained. Like they
how are they trained?
So this is why they're allowed to legally say that, even though I'll tell you what they mean by trained. What they did was, so recently, maybe within the last year or two, things came out to automate stuff for us to make our life easier. And as long as we allowed the client to know that it was happening and they signed off on it, we were allowed to do it. And what I mean is, it allows this process to listen to the session. Again, it doesn't save, well, they claimed it didn't save it for HIPAA reasons. But then after the session, before they claimed they would delete the session, they would write a note for you, because it cut back on note writing for therapists.
Right.
So therapists could just be therapists and not have to do notes.
We're already entering a really dangerous...
It was training
AI
that whole time. So now they're fighting back in court saying, well, they are trained by licensed therapists. No, you stole our sessions.
Yeah. Yes. We're also entering a huge data protection issue, because if they're using that for training without patient consent.
Yes. I never did it, because obviously when we talked about it in the group I'm in, they were like, don't do it. They suspected this. Of course, we were all worried that we were just kind of like going down a rabbit hole conspiracy theorist, but it turns out we were right. Also, I found it to be highly unethical. I was like, I'm not going to tell my clients this. No.
The same way that you have an automated phone call and it says, for training purposes, you will be recorded. Unless you are telling your patients that for training purposes, you are violating HIPAA, right?
Correct. So also, what I don't like about it is they don't know who is actually a good therapist or not. So what if you were listening on bad therapists? Right? So now you're trained off of bad therapists. There are, unfortunately, I hate to admit it, there's a bunch in every field, and we definitely have our bunch. So also, it does probably attract lazier therapists, right? People who just don't want to do the hard part of therapy, which is all the notes and forms.
Yes.
So they might be a higher percentage of worse therapists, right? Yeah. So now you have to consider, okay, so they are trained, but if they're trained by bad therapists, you're getting bad therapy. It's concerning.
It's extremely concerning. I mean, unless we're looking through everyone's credentials, their records, their patient.
Also, might I add, sorry to interrupt you, they're not specifying if they're getting them from LAC or LPC versus LSW, LCSW. So you have the lower. So when you first get out of grad school, you are considered a lower credential. Like I was an LAC at first, and I had to get 4,500 hours. Wow. And spend and you couldn't do it all in 1 year. You had to be 3 years minimum, because they didn't want people to they want you to have experience. So for 3 years I was an LAC before I came an LPC.
Right.
And basically that means you're fresh out of grad school. You really don't know what you're doing. And these places, when you're signing up for these automated notes that they're training AI off of, you can be an LAC.
Of course. Okay, so you have not a lot of real world experience. You're just getting your feet wet in your field. And now we're using you to train AI, which is going to all patients. Yes. That's so dangerous.
Which, by the way, the biggest, obviously highest mistakes is in the beginning of your career. That's how you learn. Yeah. So, I mean, also, they are all allowing interns. graduate interns to use this. So now we're getting interns.
So now if you're an what was it, LPC?
LAC is first, LPC
Okay, so now if you're an LAC or you're an intern, is it correct to say that you might have someone senior working above you that you can confer with? Okay.
You have to.
So if a human with an education degree, etc., has to confer with a senior, a supervisor before we put your advice out into the world, why could a chatbot not? That's so wrong.
Because they're not owned by a therapist or a social worker. They're owned by a VC.
There's no regulation.
No regulation.
Right. It's just a private company.
May I mind you, we have also caught they have been selling this to life coaches, which is an unregulated field.
Life coaches.
So life coaches may use it too because they do notes.
I could be a life coach.
You actually you can. You could proclaim yourself right now a life coach of grief therapy, and then you're done. Right.
Wow.
So they're also doing it, but they may still pile them under their data as a therapist or a counselor.
Wow.
Right. So this is a very gray area, and the VCs are getting away with it because they have money and they can throw it at a wall, right? They don't care.
So how can we? Your governing body. I'm assuming you have like a
state.
Right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how can we combat this? What do you think?
People have to stop. Here's the thing. This is a lot of angles here because in order to fight back against VCs and not use it, you actually have to really get to the core of people in low socioeconomic status who are using this because they can't afford it, but they need therapy, right? So we really need to combat, let's find services that are maybe accessible to everybody. And if that means, which may go into another topic, because I know he did just cut mental health funding for schools and everything.
Shoot.
So
for schools?
Yeah, he did.
I know. The shootings.
Yeah. So that's gone.
Sorry, that sounded lighthearted, not funny.
So the problem is we need to find a way where we can allocate funds for mental health for people who can't afford.
Right.
Even I know some people have great copays. Don't get me wrong, because in my practice alone, I have people with $5 copays, but not everyone has a great job that gives them a low copay, right? Because I do see a lot of 50, 75. And if you need to be seen once or twice weekly, that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
So we need to figure out how to, first of all, fight insurance companies. People are paying into this and you're making them pay $75 copay. That should be a crime. A crime.
Shout out to Luigi. What was that kid's name?
Luigi and Mangio. If you're in prison listening to our podcast, we love you. We're going to jail for that.
It's really effed up what you did.
No, it is.
But I think everyone was kind of like, nice.
In our therapist group, we were like, do you think a jury would acquit him just because as mental health therapists, we're like, yeah, because a lot of us that own our own practices, we know how it is to fight insurance companies and how they'll pretend to pay you and then claw it back. I don't know if you know what clawbacks is, but
no, I do.
Where they pay you and then 6 months later they take it back out of your business account, but you've already paid your employees, so you know what I mean. The money
how
was
do they get away with that?
Oh, they're allowed to do clawbacks, or we signed a contract stating they're allowed to claw back if they deem the service wasn't necessary. Yeah.
How can an insurance company who's not a health professional say therapy is not necessary?
They hire people on their staff that audit, and they apparently have our credentials. And
they apparently know when someone's mentally unwell just by looking at a piece of paper.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, Bridget, I guess I haven't told you about this. I could go off on 2 hours. You guys will hate me. Therapists hate insurance. It's like a means to an end. We need them obviously to make ends meet, but they're so evil and unethical. Honestly, it will take more than 2 hours. But I digress. The Hornitos is getting me really angry. It's getting me revved up.
Or horns are coming out from the Hornitos.
But it is so I get so angry. So we really need to combat that. First, accessible healthcare funding, and also fight the insurance companies. They shouldn't be able to claw back money from people who need therapy. Also, they pay into it. They pay to use their insurance, and now you're saying, oh, you don't deserve it?
I mean, that's like if someone went to the emergency room and they had some x-rays and then a random data analyzer was like, that was unnecessary. How do you know? You didn't see the broken wrist. How do you know the x-ray wasn't necessary? How can someone without any medical training just say, it doesn't feel necessary?
Oh, it's getting ridiculous. So we like to all help each other out, obviously, in our groups. So we recently learned that when she was audited, even though her notes were up to par, because she didn't write the client said the session helped, she owed thousands of dollars. So I had to up my notes to say, yes or no, drop down for my therapist.
Right.
Did the client find the session helpful? Is that not ridiculous?
That is absurd.
They're not even the mental health professional.
You know what's so similar? This is so funny. Is our mom, Jerry, she'll, whenever she has physical therapy for something, and she taught me this when I was 10. I went to physical therapy when I was 10 because of bad knee. Anyway.
Well, you got beat. No,
But when you're in physical therapy, you guys take note of this. every couple weeks or something, they give you that patient information sheet, and it says like,
Yes.
where's your pain now? Do you have function back? And at 10, I was like, yes. But I said all of this because I really liked my physical therapist and I wanted them to get like a rave. And I was like, yes, killing it, queens, crushing it. Yeah, I didn't know that I was 10. So mom, she had a busted shoulder recently, and she's like, I still fill out like cannot open a jar without pain. Because she's like, that's the only way to get insurance to pay for it. And she's like, it's true, but like you have to harp on it. You have to be like, I'm still in severe pain. I don't have functional capacity back. And I can't open a jar still with my shoulder. And I was like, oh shit, that has no reflection of the quality of care you're getting. So don't worry, you're not going to offend your therapist. It's just for insurance purposes.
Yep. I believe Luigi Mangione killed the CEO on the cusp of United, saying they were pulling back. What's that thing? I'm sorry, because see the alcohol's got me crazy. But what's that thing you need to go? Anesthesia. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
So they pulled back on that, and there were so many TikToks of people being like, "I'm literally." I just had anesthesia done and my patient's already knocked out, but I have to be on the phone with insurance because they said they weren't going to pay for this or something, like, because they had a limit on anesthesia. They weren't going to pay after a certain.
So we're not going to allow people to
be
pain-free, paralyzed during surgery?
And this all was on the cusp of, and then like literally a month later, after I was watching all these videos of doctors outraged in the U.S., he killed the CEO because it was United Healthcare who was doing that.
Okay, so I'm going to just touch on anesthesia. So anesthesia has three main parts, but the two most important, obviously, are muscle paralysis and pain relief. The third is knocks you out. I can't remember the term right now. Sorry, I'm having a margarita. So muscle paralysis, basically like sleepy time meds. What's the stuff that killed Michael Jackson? Propofol. And pain relief, okay? You need all three of those elements to make a cocktail. Now, anesthesiologists, as annoying as they are, it's just a medical thing. We always fight with anesthesiologists. They are basically like math whizzes. They work out the exact dose for your age, gender, and weight to put you to sleep, to induce muscle paralysis, and to relieve your pain. You need those three things without killing you or being ineffective, which can happen, by the way. So they do the math the night before your surgery. They have all your data. That's why you go for like a pre-op. So they know literally every health biometric measurement. They give you the perfect cocktail to put you to sleep so you don't feel pain. You cannot successfully do these things without the proper dosage. It's not like an anesthesiologist is like, shoot them with 5 milligrams more just for that. That's not how it works. They give you the right amount for the length of surgery that you will be under and for your weight and age. So there is no like, she didn't need it, but we gave it anyway. That's called death.
I feel like, I don't think I'm misquoting it, but I remember it was like they were not going to pay for anything over 2 hours. But some people have surgeries that are 5 to 8, you know.
And first of all, most people, unless you're in my field, which is obstetrics, we keep it under 2 hours. Almost any other surgery.
Yeah, it was 2 hours, I'm pretty sure.
Spinal surgery, neurosurgery, cardiothoracic surgery, even some general surgeons are relatively fast nowadays, but anything with the bowel, we're over 2 hours.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I guess don't quote me because I am drinking, but I'm pretty sure it said anything over 2 hours was the patient's responsibility.
That makes zero sense. So if I needed cardiothoracic surgery because I'm dying, it's my responsibility.
When I tell you if that was me, I just never would pay or only pay $5 a month for the rest of my life.
How about extremely complex surgeries that we encourage, like organ donation? So now I'm giving up a kidney. You're welcome, society. I'm giving up a kidney altruistically. And that's, let's say it's, takes 3 to 4 hours. Now I'm responsible for my anesthesia because I'm doing a good thing.
They reversed it the day after they found out he shot the CEO. So thank you, Luigi.
Thanks, Lulu. A working class hero.
Honestly. That's why my friends in the chat were like, you think they'll acquit him? Because like he did a good deed.
I mean, that is some fucked up shit. That's really insane. How do people justify that? I hate insurance companies and I don't even work in this country, but that's one of the big reasons my husband, who's a doctor as well, he's English, and he's like, I don't want to work in the States because part of your job is, if you own your own practice, is also being like billing and he's like, I don't want to do that. I know, but that's like,
or you do what I did. I don't do therapy anymore. I only do that.
That's true.
Because I prefer it because I can work whenever I want, wherever I want.
Yeah.
On my hours, So, I mean, honestly, maybe he's like, being a doctor is hard on my feet now. I'm in my 50s. I prefer to just stay home on my computer and do a little billing.
But how sad is that you have to have like you know, it's just, how is that someone's responsibility? Like, I mean, this is the classic example everybody gives, is you're born with type 1 diabetes. You need the insulin, not your fault, not your fault at all. Yet they're like, you got to pay for it, sucker. What?
It is a bit ridiculous. I've never liked our healthcare system, but I mean,
I think we need a hybrid situation. There are a lot of countries that you can have private and you can have public. So if you're
one of them, right?
Yeah, yes, you can have private, you can have, so it's not like everyone has the government cheese. You don't have to do it that way. If you want to pay private, 100%, go for it, queen. You know what I mean?
Theo has feelings about this.
And when you do it this way, the private costs much less because not that many people want it, so they have to be competitive.
Right.
Whereas in the U.S., it's your only option, so they can jack that price up
also,
as high as they want.
Might I add, in this country, which I find is ridiculous, you're punished for not having it, even if you can't afford it.
Yeah.
So come tax season, if you don't say you have health insurance, you have a fine, which it's like, obviously if I don't have it, I can't pay for it. So now you're fining me. I don't have the money.
How high is the fine?
It's like $800, I think.
Fuck. Okay, guys, I'm screwed because I don't live here. I don't have health insurance here, but I pay taxes.
You're not a full-time citizen. You don't live here majority of your time.
Oh, so it doesn't count?
I'm pretty sure you're fine. You don't live here majority of your time.
Fuck.
Also, I'm pretty sure Jerry takes care of your stuff.
No. I know, but I have to do it with Steve.
No. You're fine. You have to. This has to be your primary residence.
Okay, they know it's England. They know it's England. Oh, thank God.
You're fine.
I'm almost shit myself. I don't have $800 right now.
You would have known by now. Tax season's over. Steve would have told you.
Steve.
Would you like to weigh in, Steve? Would you like to come on Psychotic Pussy Podcast?
Steve, explain finances to me, Steve.
Steve, I do love you, but I think if we had a whole 45 minutes on finances, people might tune out. They might be bored.
I have a brother-in-law who's an accountant, and he just explains things to us randomly, and I'm like, what?
You're talking about John?
No.
You have Will,
Tom.
right? Oh, Tom.
That's funny. I have a lot of accountants in my life.
Do.
No, but John doesn't randomly lecture us on finances.
That's because he hates them too. He hates how life is.
No, Tom loves it. He's such a nerd. But he'll just be like looking at Theo and give a whole lecture on taxes. And everyone will be like, nobody cares. And I'm like, wait, I do, because I don't understand money. Like, explain.
But the thing with, as great as that is, he can only explain England. He can't explain.
I know.
Well, you got John, I guess.
I'm like, someone please explain money to me.
That's how I am. You know what's crazy? I was just thinking recently, because some people have wanted to start a practice and they realize they can only do the therapy portion of it. And without hiring someone, which cuts into your profits, it probably isn't feasible unless you come into this with like a big lump sum, right?
Right.
I feel like I'm so blessed, and got to give a shout out to my husband. I was only able to create my business because my husband knows the business side. I don't do that. He does it. I worry about the therapy and the therapist, and he does the business. And that works great. What's crazy is though, I wouldn't have known that years ago. So like, thank God I just happened to marry someone who is like that, because what if I would have screwed myself?
He knows words like fiduciary. What does that mean? And
I know hornitos.
Guys, this is bang for your buck. We're going into a recession, queens. You're talking bang for your buck. It's this on the rocks. It's really packed. We're one margarita in. This hornitos is strong.
When I did the Cosmo one, I was like on the floor.
All right, we were talking recession season,
and only one bottle is like $21, and it's a big bottle.
You can pass out every day for 3 weeks.
Wait, we're supposed to be a health podcast. Retract that. The hornitos has got us talking crazy. Got us talking like AI chatbots. Okay.
Do you want to go to sleep with a tequila buzz every night for 21 days?
It's like the infomercial part of it.
Sponsored by Hornitos.
No.
On the rocks.
On the rocks.
Which is funded by Hornitos.
Theo would like to say a word about the evils of the insurance companies and healthcare. He is trying to fight the microphone.
He wants to lick that microphone.
He is so upset, he's silenced.
Yeah, he's stunned into silence.
Theo Bear. Theo.
Okay, we're moving on a bit. So this is a total flip of the switch here. But new trend, again, read it in the skim, literally read it on the news, in the news. This is a very real thing that's happening, is there's a new trend alert. Men who I would say are maybe a bit immature. I'm not going to say all men here. Men who listen to Andrew Tate, possibly. They're trimming, waxing, and shaving eyelashes to appear more masculine.
Weird.
Very weird. Men, apparently, just men existing in the world with God-given eyelashes, are deemed too feminine. No eyeliner, no mascara, no makeup. Just a man with a penis and eyelashes. Apparently, too feminine. one of the people absolutely roasted for just being himself, I assume, was actually Vice President J.D. Vance, which is why on our Instagram I posted an AI image of J.D. Vance in drag. He basically just exists with his God-given eyelashes, and people trolled him. They said he was wearing eyeliner and mascara, which apparently is not true. He's just kind of pale with light eyes and dark hair. And men said, which is funny because you'd assume men who would follow this trend kind of support the current administration. But anyway, they trolled J.D. Vance and said he is too feminine, needs to stop wearing eye makeup, and that they, to appear more masculine, will start shaving off their eyelashes. Now, medically, obviously you're born with eyelashes because they prevent certain particulate matter from getting in your eye. The first, all your body hair really is like your first barrier against infections. Same with earwax. It's a barrier against infections getting into your ear. Yes, okay, it's a bit hypocritical because
for a reason, people.
It's for a reason. Hypocritical because women like fucking wax everything off. We're like, hair, not today.
No.
Yeah, as Ted always says, anything below the eyelashes, women just tend to like electrocute off.
We would not do that to our eyelashes, though. That's weird.
Exactly. Baby sneeze incoming. He's about to. He's about to. So hypocritical for us to judge, but we are. So men are doing this, and a lot of doctors, or even just like allied health professionals, are kind of saying, please don't do this because you need your eyelashes. Also, if you shave, trim, etc., you're opening yourself up to really nasty ingrown hairs in a very sensitive location. Men know this because I know you manscape, obviously, and your hair tends to be a bit thicker, wirier than women's. And so when you do certain like beard shave, neck beard, maybe even pubes, you do get ingrown hairs. It is what it is. You deal with it. Now imagine that on your fucking eyelid. You're going to get a sty weekly. Yeah. And you're going to constantly have... So you want to talk about feminine. You're going to be walking around with a fucking cold compress on your eye like blind. But that's fine. That's totally... Just go blind. No big deal. Just be uncomfortable and on antibiotics constantly. Yeah. Every month they're on pills and they're complaining with a hot compress.
Are they women?
It's got... Yeah, how funny is that? So you're basically going to have your eye period monthly. And you're going to be like, no, this is masculine. It's just... What have we on? What level of human have we unlocked here that people are shaving their eyelashes to appear more masculine?
I hope it's like literally negative 0.000025 of the population. Like I hope it's not common.
I also hope that as well. It's a trend on TikTok.
You put him down.
So I just think, where is society heading now that we've deemed natural eyelashes? I know in 2008. 2006 to 2010, let's say, broad. It was a thing to wear eyeliner as a man, very scene culture, emo scene, etc. That was allowed, skinny jeans and eyeliner, but now just men existing, too feminine.
Also, I know that some men have great eyelashes, but also some men don't. Either they're so blonde and straight and little that... So, like, nobody saw your eyelashes anyway, dude.
Also, one thing that men don't know this because we don't tell them everything, but one thing that women are so jealous of, when you see a little boy with dark hair and their eyelashes are fucking glorious.
Yeah, they're curled up.
It actually makes you more fuckable.
Because we're like, maybe our daughter will have those
exactly.
eyelashes.
I'm so jealous. Like, our brother Michael
has the best eyelashes.
Also, like, eyebrow envy because he could shape them into any. He's like the thickest fucking eyebrows on the planet. I will say that.
And eyebrows,
eyelashes, everything. I remember we were in Disney and he was like 8 years old, and a Spanish speaking family was right behind us in line for test track, and they were speaking Spanish, but I understood what they were saying. They basically said that his eyelashes were so gorgeous and they were jealous, and they kept pointing at him, and he was like such a beautiful little boy.
He was
like, this is not something that makes you unfuckable.
No, people are like jealous.
Like when you see a grown man with gorgeous eyelashes, you're like, fuck you, I hate you, I'm jealous.
Also, I feel like we're in like a century, I'll say maybe century, right? Because it's 100 years for sure, where Drew Tate quality men are trying to look boys, so true, trying to look so masculine, but this is like the first ever because like previous centuries, men wore wigs and like they wanted to be feminine.
It's called dandyism. And actually, Oscar Wilde was a dandy, and it was basically men who dressed very flamboyantly. By today's standards, we would say flamboyant, when in reality, it was just like, it was kind of how what's his name? Billy Porter showed up
Yeah.
to the Met Gala in 2019 in like a
Yeah.
dress, and everyone was like, he's so gay. And it's like, whoa, wait. Can we just say that women's clothing is gorgeous,
It is.
colorful, fun, changes seasonally. Men's fashion, same. Long shorts,
But
same.
Used to dress really nice.
Exactly.
Like a wig, powdered face.
Yes,
high
heels,
knee
literally
yes,
heels. Dandyism died out, and Michael, our brother, he's a history major. He actually told me the reason, and I can't remember now. I think it was. No, I think it was. There was maybe one of the English princes or something.
Oh.
Yeah, it's something. Shit, I'm gonna misquote this, but it's fine. You're gonna get the gist, people.
The Hornitos are doing
the Hornitos. Basically, there was like, I'm pretty sure some English royalty was like very short or something, and like or too tall. His height was a thing because dandies used to wear heels. So he was like, no, like we're just gonna wear black suits, and yeah, this is true. And so then that became the norm for men to, because obviously you want to dress like the royalty because they're the trendsetters at that time. So over a century ago,
off with his head.
One prince basically decided like, oh, we're all just gonna like dress pretty plain and like be in accordance with religion and more piety and etc. And that is set the course in motion for men's fashion for the next 150 years to be so dull. So it's not like strange at all. Like I actually like that men's fashion is kind of coming back a bit, and it's fine, and you can do pops of color. My husband, I think it was before we went to Mallorca one summer, he went shopping at Abercrombie and bought like a ton of like gorgeous linen, colorful with floral. Oh my God, they were so great. Bought a ton. It wasn't until we got home, we read the label. It said A and F, like Abercrombie and Fitch, Abercrombie and Smelly Fish. That's how I don't get sued. It said Abercrombie and Fitch Pride Collection. We didn't even know, because like that should, men's fashion is kind of coming back to be a bit more fun. And it was like, oh, we didn't even know he bought the Pride Collection. Like,
it's nice.
Why is it that straight men can only wear fucking black suits for black tie? And praise you, Billy Porter, for being like, I think that's his name. Fuck, I'm wrong again.
She said Abercrombie and Fish, so probably not.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Anyway. But I like that Met Gala is today, and everyone's looking at him to see what he's going to wear. Like, I like that you can just wear whatever you want again.
Listen, the best fashion is gay men, because let me tell you, the things are more fitted, they're more colorful. I'm sorry, but like I was so happy when we got out of the early 2000s with the Baugy. I'm sorry, wow.
Eddie Bauer?
No, Baggy. I was trying to say Gaucho.
Baggy's back though.
I was trying to say Gaucho pants and Baggy. Bauchy. I think I needed a word. Is fetch going to happen?
Also, Baggy's back. Fuck you, bitch. Wait, Kate Moss, guys, trend alert. Kate Moss wore skinny jeans 2 months ago, and I'm just telling you, heard it here first. Skinny jeans are back.
Listen, after 2 kids and 2 C-sections, I don't have the body for skinny.
I don't have the time. Remember, like going. This is the sound of me jumping to put skinny jeans on.
Also, we're also cooking her lunch, so that's not all her. That's also the crisp pan of her. What is it called? Penang or
Penang. I love Penang. It's Thai. Anyway,
the point is, I do think men dress better when it is a bit flamboyant. I'm sorry, it's nice. It's nicer.
It's nice to see a man express style.
Baggy, ghetto. I don't need it. You don't look well dressed. You look sloppy.
Wait, can I just say that her husband grills all year round outside in a fucking American flag tank top and like ripped shorts?
July. Okay, no, that's because we were poor. And also he's just so patriotic.
And she's like, I just love a bit of flair.
But listen, don't lie. On holidays where I dress her whole family, we all look put together. We all match. We all have a color scheme. And he looks fabulous. You do. Every other 350 days is none of my business. It's none of my business. He does what he wants. He does what he wants to do. I don't care.
Yeah, I would say men's fashion is coming back in a big way. It has been for a few years now, but skinny jeans are back. Sorry, guys, it's true. I know Kate Moss did it to us. She did it.
I don't have the Italian thighs for that. Okay?
She did it.
I'm
she did it.
Top and not down there.
Butter yellow is also the color of spring. I know it's already May now. It's May 5th, so you better get on it, ladies. It's butter yellow. It doesn't look good on my skin tone, but it's fine. Wait, Marissa.
Yellow. It's my season.
You look amazing. She was always the yellow Power Ranger as a kid. Yeah. Butter yellow. You're late to it, but get on it.
Well,
and skinny jeans, yeah.
Typical mom fashion. I don't know what's going on.
I know. I'm telling you. I'm giving you the info right now. Yeah. I used to be a trendsetter as a kid. Okay. That is true. I know that's ironic now. It's ironic now.
Off topic.
We're going off topic. It's ironic now because if you saw me dressed, you'd be like, but Marissa, is it not true that I used to be like, I used to be pretty.
Why don't you tell them the turban story? Most people.
Okay, so I very stupidly.
Grandma died.
It wasn't my grandma.
Yes,
Who was it? No, it was Uncle Jack's funeral. No, it was Uncle Jack's.
No, because you were
No.
standing at the front.
Yes.
Greeting people.
It was Uncle Jack.
So
100%.
you were just overstepping.
Yes.
Okay.
Our great Uncle Jack, who was like another grandpa to us. We were going to his funeral. It was 20. I can tell you right now. Don't tell me. 2011. It was 2011, maybe 12. I think it was 2011. And at the time, I wore a headscarf, a long one. And my mom said, okay, just when you get to the funeral, make sure you take it off. And I forgot. Okay, no, I tried, and I had a bad hair day because the turban was on all day. So I had to put the scarf back on. And I showed up to the funeral. We're in like the receiving line, greeting. This is all our family. And my mom came right up to me and was like, I can't believe you still have a fucking scarf on your head. That season, Marissa, was it not true? That whole summer, literally, headscarves were back. 2011, back.
It was all because Uncle Jack died. Thank you. Because Bridget got to premiere.
Another time, I have another example, straight out of Teen Vogue. Teen Vogue, are you following me? In 2010, I remember these dates. I don't know why. I'm such a psycho with this. My husband can attest. Whenever they're like, name that movie. Like, I can tell you the date. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it was 2010. It was a dress down day. Shout out to Catholic school. Mm-hmm. No uniform, pay $5, whatever. Our mom, it was very athletic in high school, though so spazzy now. She had 12 letters. 12 letters. You know, when you get like your Letterman sweater. Yeah. So she ran out of items to put them on. So she started doing like throwback Letterman sweaters. She has a Jackson. It's gorgeous. White, like cream white, not white, and red Letterman sweater. Because she's like, I had literally so many varsity letters. I had to just like start putting them on different things. So she had this gorgeous one, Jackson. So I wore it with jeans, skinny jeans, because it was 2010, to dress down day with like my hair wavy, curly. So chic, so cute. At first, everyone was like, your outfit's really cool, but where did you get that Letterman sweater? Like, is it the 50s?
Jackson
and I was
Memorial
like, I was like, Jackson Memorial, class of 81. Literally that spring. So this was because I wore a sweater, so it had to be the winter. That spring, Teen Vogue, which I subscribed to at the time because I was only 15, had a whole front page, and then a whole article. Okay, Merce's dancing with more on the rocks. A whole fresh bottle. So 42 days of drunk.
I was going to just give us one.
A whole freaking, it was featured on the front page, and then a whole spread article about how the new trend for this spring was vintage Letterman sweaters.
You know who brought that back? They're not going to give you credit. They're going to say Taylor Swift. Wow. Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swifty. It was good. Swiffer.
That's actually, she got into the trendy, the preppy stuff in 2010. So some people
still, I know they're really into like where really getting dressed up in glittery now is like her new trend, but like maybe like 5 to 8 years ago, somewhere in that, it was where like Letterman.
It was 2010.
So like people were wearing like Letterman sweaters, like white and then the red. And I'm like, that's
Jackson Memorial. Yes, that is so. And I did this on my own accord. Like mom was cleaning out the closet and was like, oh, LOL, throwback. And I was like, I'm wearing that next week. Like I never saw it in an article. This is before Taylor Swift started doing. You're right though, the ultra preppy look she did with the Oxfords and the that was her thing. And this was before that,
as true Taylor Swift does because she's smart. And I saw her documentary. She always says like in her documentary, women have to. I forget the title because I'm drunk.
Mission Americana.
The women always have to try harder and always have to rebrand yourself if you don't want to become a nobody, which is why she's always rebranding herself. Smart business sense,
obviously. Like Madonna. Take a note from that book. That had a British accent for a decade. Just thought, hey, let's do that. She did. Like kooky as fuck, right?
But she's still rich and famous.
Still relevant. Still relevant. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Time goes by so Jenna leg up in the air so slowly.
I mean, yeah, women. That's so true. Whereas you look at like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and they're like rocking the same neck beards for 52 years.
So she was saying in her, because you know how she started out as country. She was saying how like male counterparts in that industry, you could have like the same, you could even have the same beat of songs and people will just love you. And you can go on for decades after decades doing the same shit and maybe releasing a few new songs here and there. She was like, it's so hard for a woman. You have to keep rebranding yourself 100%. Or you are no longer relevant. They'll find the next youngest girl because females, obviously men view us differently. If you're not hot and young, you're
Yeah, you could do the same shit for 50 years as a man, and they're like, he's aged, like he knows, he's rugged, he's aged, he's experienced, he knows the industry. If a man does that, they're like, oh, this old witch, like the same shit. Also,
Haggard bitch.
also, like every time she sings about any boy, they're like, she's a whore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, is Ed Sheeran's whole career not based off of love songs?
100%,
Right. Okay.
100%.
Is he a whore? No.
Maybe
Maybe
a man whore.
We
love
back
you,
in the
though.
day. Back
Love
in the
you.
day. Back in the day. Because I was married with kids.
I'm empowering this. I'm not negative.
Also, yeah. Wait. Why do we hate whores?
I'm a whore.
It's
you
the,
a whore.
It's the
I'm
oldest
a whore.
profession. It's the oldest profession.
I think
Go.
we're whores.
It
Are we
is.
whores?
It is the only, porn and prostitution. Yeah. The only industry is sex work where men still outperform women. I mean, oh my God, I said that wrong. I said that backwards. Women. Sorry, I'm so drunk.
We're blaming you on the rocks.
Women outperform men. That is the only consistent industry is sex work. Women get paid way more than men.
Maybe
as we should.
We have more parts.
I'm sorry, but women's bodies.
Come on, what do you
way
prefer?
better.
A saggy ball sack or a nice set of tits? Come on.
With women, you get double the fun. There's a top and a bottom.
Absolutely.
With men, there's just the bottom. Correct?
Also, I think we're just pretty creatures, in my opinion.
Same.
But,
I'm not even gay.
Are you sure? You're blushing. Anyway, I
gay.
do feel like the title of this podcast should be like whores, whores, whores. More whores. No. Should we? What do you think we should name this podcast, everybody?
Well, I think about that all the time because, whenever you're like, I love living with women, right? Isn't that the best time when you like your roommates, you get ready together, you have hungover days the next, girlhood. And I always was like, if I could be gay, I fucking would. If it was a choice, I would choose it. Come on, I want to live with women and have fun. Yeah. I just can't.
We also were blessed with marrying men that are not schlubs. So I feel like we don't feel so strongly anymore because we married people that they do their fair share of parenting. They don't just what is it called, babysitting?
Yeah.
Now, if I married a man that babysat in quotes, air quotes,
I would force myself to be gay.
I would be a lesbian. I'd be a lesbian because if you're not going to do half of the work or even more when I don't feel good, I don't want you.
I'm just saying though that like I prefer like my best friend Marwa and I. Shout out to Marwa. She's no Wi-Fi. She's in Libya right now, but like we would always say like if I could choose her as a partner, I mean we would live so happily. However, that in mind, the female form is significantly more beautiful than the male.
I agree. Well, there's tons of Greek sculptures.
Venus.
Sorry, we're slurring our words because Hornitos is kicking.
Guys, honestly, On the Rocks is the best bang for your buck this recession.
We're just like, I'm not driving home. I have a guest bed, by the way.
Oh, fuck.
No. Safety first. Stay as long as you need.
Seriously.
Endless water, endless carbs, a bed if you choose not to.
Oh, yeah, she's got a house.
Also, Evelyn loves sleeping in Jack's room, so if you need the baby's room for the crib, you can have it.
All good.
So
how crazy is that? Like, we're straight, and we're just, the female form is much better. That's why women are paid more.
Yeah, good thing, finally, in some profession. Whores.
Yeah.
Listen, we should empower ourselves. Don't let them take that word from us.
Wait, that actually bothers me that like we're so offended. Like, because it is one of those words where someone calls you that, almost like if you deny a guy and they're like, you bitch, you whore, and you're like, oh, fuck.
But they love. But I feel like some men are not that they're smart, but they are smart in a sense where they know to hurt you. So they don't just call you a whore; they say fat whore because they know self-esteem. They're like, you fat or ugly, uglier. It's always ugly or fat before
uglier fat. You're right.
Always. You know what? Fine.
I have a great anecdote about that.
Good. As she's eating her lunch.
It reminded me only because I was recently at a wedding where a girl I went to Fordham with, Julia. She's so funny.
Have I met her?
You maybe. She was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
She's older.
Was she
than
at your
though.
wedding?
No.
Continue.
She's 2 years older than me.
Okay.
She's fucking hilarious. She's a mom now. Anyway, she has this great story. I think she was a senior at the time, so I must have been a sophomore at Fordham. And we were out at a bar, and I don't know, she's like just a fucking baller. And I don't know if she cut a line or I don't know exactly what happened. She punched somebody. I can't remember the details of the story. But she got mad at one of these like baseball players at Fordham. And he called her fat. Like, yeah, this guy called her fat. And she just turned around and said, fat, which, by the way, I would say Julia, the thing is, she's fit as fuck. Like, her body looks amazing. But she's not, like, petite. She's just naturally not petite, but, like, ripped. Always had amazing muscles, like, quads for days, bicep, like, ripped. Definitely not fat. But just, like, isn't naturally petite frame. That's
correct.
All.
Yeah.
And she was like, she turned around, calm and cool as anything. It was like, fat? You call me fat? I'm not fat. I'll show you my nudes. And we quoted that for years. Like, he was stunned.
Genius.
Stunned into silence, just like my son earlier.
You know what? He secretly wanted us.
He literally was like, this kid did not have an answer. He plays for the Red Sox now. He did not have.
Give me a name. I'll
He
fight
did
him.
not have
He'd
a
ride
fucking. He's a Red Sox pitcher. Did not have an answer. He's easy to find. Just Fordham Red Sox pitcher. Actually, wait, no, he's traded to the Yankees. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Motherfucking Dawn.
Called her fat, and she just calm as anything goes, I'll show you my fucking nudes. I'm not fat. And I was like, wow. That's some fucking female empowerment.
No, I'm proud of her.
I know.
You, Julia. Good, Julia. Good for you, Julia.
We told that story for years. We were always like, I'll show you my fucking nudes.
But also, like, okay, you're still not getting this.
I know, right? I can't remember why they argued. It was such a stupid thing at a college bar way back in 2014 or something. Who knows? 2013.
Men are not all men. Obviously, we know great men in our life, not just the people we married. But I feel like he has great cousins. You have great brother-in-laws and cousins, etc.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, we are. Well, thank God we were raised by a smart woman. But some men are just fucking disgusting. And gross.
That actually is a perfect segue. Remember how everyone says like man or gorilla?
Yeah.
And did you hear about this? 100 men want to fight a gorilla and to see who wins. Wait, Elon Musk is one of them. Elon Musk
realize a gorilla will kill you, right? They're huge and their strength is unmatchable.
You don't even have to be 100 men versus a gorilla. Once a gorilla touches one of you, you're all going to see that and back away in fear. Correct?
I'm sorry, but if anyone I knew said I want to fight a gorilla, I'd say, I'm going to plan your funeral. What casket would you like? What cemetery?
It's fully
you're dead.
Elon Musk is one of the 100. He signed up. Okay, I'm not joking. He really did this.
Listen, I know you're a father, so I don't wish ill.
No, I know. You have like 13 boys to raise.
But that's a dumb decision. Please rethink. Because they're pretty strong. Yeah. So, anyway, I know we've been off topic, but hornitos, right? So, let us talk about our polls that we've been promising. The first poll was, what is a male equivalent of Karen? And we had a lot of people write in. And what did stand out to us is the two ladies, I hope it's okay to shout you out, is our Aunt Erin Henneke, my dad's sister, and Annabelle, who was marrying my brother, my sister-in-law to be in August. They both said Brad and Chad, and we thought it was funny and it stood out to us because we also had said that in our last session. Like, wouldn't those be good names, right? Yeah. So, I mean, you guys were right on the money. We agree. It's definitely Brad or Chad. We can make them interchangeable. That's fine. Whatever, leaves your lips at the time of anger. We're okay with that. So congrats to you two. I wish I'd say you have prizes, but you could just come have a drink, have a Hornitos drink with us.
Hornitos. Yes, Hornitos.
We'll owe you an On the Rocks drink. Okay.
Yes.
Also, we all see both of you at your wedding, Annabelle. So let's do it then. Woo! All right. Anyway, we're clearly buzzed while we talk. The next one was, do people prefer to eat out alone or with others? 100% said others. Thank God. I was a little concerned for the generation coming up, but I'm proud that you proved me wrong.
If out of necessity, I'll eat out by myself. Like, I'm not shy at all. So, like, if I'm, like, out traveling, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't eat out because I'm alone. But do I prefer to be with people? Obviously. The whole point of going out is you get to dress up, you get to put a makeup on, you try a new place, you order 2 different mains so that you could share and try 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm happy. Probably a little biased, though, because I do feel like our followers probably are not Gen Alpha, Gen Z as much as they're older. So maybe predicted that it would be that. Hi, Theo. I'm so glad you joined us in the ending. By the way, he is rocking a fabulous shirt. It says groovy. It's got a disco ball, a little cute mushroom, and a guitar.
Tara Henneke. Aunt Tara.
Thank you, Aunt Tara. Shout out to Tara Henneke, married to Uncle Brian. Love you guys.
Tara Roberts Henneke.
There we go. A good thing we didn't mess that up like we messed up everything else. But otherwise, we're going to end today. We're so glad that you're listening. Also, Bridget, right? Who was it that gave us a shout out while running that you just saw recently?
Tracy Renkel.
Thank you, Tracy Renkel.
Tracy said on her walks, she loves listening to our podcast. This is a bit of a boozy one, which is what we always intended. Shout out to Tracy.
I hope after your run, you have a boozy time.
Walks. She said she walks.
Oh, walks. Thank you for walking and listening to us. We appreciate you. Thank you, Tracy. And we will talk to you next time. But until then, please like, subscribe, listen. And maybe we need to host like an event where it's like a boozy event with like obviously food. And we just like let our listeners.
Oh my God, wait, that would be so fun. But this is basically our friends and family, though.
But that's the point. Business write-off. Anyway, we'll get. But we'd have to do it before Bridget leaves. If not, we'll catch you in August.
How fun would that be?
Fiduciary. I don't.
Fiduciary.
All I can think of is like, never mind. Anyway, we'll talk after the podcast. As always, though, we love you guys. Thank you for listening, and thank you for always recommending us. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.